Welcome to Take Back Mondays podcast, the podcast dedicated to helping you love Mondays. I'm your host, Krista Molione. I'm a business and marketing strategist, an entrepreneur, and a mom. I'm on a mission. My mission is to help people find their passion, build businesses around the lifestyle they want to live, take back their time, and get into the best shape of their lives in the online space, covering marketing, business, mindset, and more. Are you ready to take back your Monday? Hey friends, one of the questions I get asked all the time is about pricing. People come to me and ask this: how much should I charge? As a business mentor, this is a typical question, but I have a ridiculously simple way of solving this problem, not on a case-by-case basis, but for good, with my magic formula. So let me explain to you today what that is and take the stress away from your pricing for good. So let's first decide who your ideal customer is. And I'm going to divide them by how much they earn. We have 4 levels of customers. Level 1 is going to be the junior. Now, this is somebody who's earning in US dollars. Full disclaimer, everything I'm going to teach today is going to be in US dollars. So bear with me if you need to translate that into your own currency. Well, let's say the junior person is earning about $50,000 per year. Now, this may be a young employee who is in their first 5 years of employment. This could also be somebody who's retired or semi-retired. So I'm going to, for simplicity, call them the junior, but you can apply this to someone who's also somehow receiving a pension, not able to work full time. They're getting $50,000 a year. Then the second level is going to be what I call the senior. And the senior is when we talk about professionals, usually we're talking about senior professionals, meaning someone who's been working for, more than 5 years in their industry, anywhere between 6 years all the way to 16 years. So they may be very seasoned professionals. And these people, for simplicity, I'm calling them the seniors. And the reason is they usually have a senior position by then. So they've climbed up the ranks, and with experience, they gain knowledge, and knowledge translates into their income rising. So a senior professional probably doesn't manage anyone, but definitely has a more seasoned role. And these people are making $100K a year. So they're making double. And then we've got the third layer, which is the CEO. Now, a good CEO, I'm just talking about small business, makes over $200,000 a year. That could be up to several $1,000,000. So there, the range just takes off incredibly. But for simplicity today, we're going to imagine a small CEO who pays himself after taxes and deductions $200K per year. And this is very simplified, okay? And then the fourth layer is a company. And this is someone who hires services for their company. They have a whole different way of budgeting things. Does that make sense? So I hope it does. So we've got these 4 different groups, very distinct based on how much they are making. So now let's decide that you are thinking about charging for services to these different types of people. I'm going to show you 2 different price points so you understand this. So let's say that you have in your mind as a service provider that you want to charge someone $2,000 for your services. And this would be like on a monthly basis. Maybe you're doing some done-for-you services for them. Maybe you're coaching them. Whatever it is, you've determined that $2,000 for these types of services would be really good for you personally. Now, we have to look at who you're going to sell these services to. Let's go back through, and I'm going to take, because these people are earning salary, the first three that I mentioned. So for a CEO making $200,000 or more, $2,000 only represents 12% of his income. Professional, a senior, for them, that goes all the way up to 25% of their salary. And for a junior, it's 50% of their salary. So obviously, if you're saying, well, I want to charge $2,000 for these services, do you think a young professional who has less than 5 years in the business, who is making less than $100K a year, can afford to pay 50% of their salary for you? I don't think so. Just be realistic here. Now let's look at the senior professional who has more than 5 years. They're solid professionals. They're making 100K, which is not bad, but still 25% of their salary for your services? I don't think so, unless they're nuts. So a CEO, 12%, so here's what that translates into per month. If you're going to charge for $2,000 per month for a CEO making $200,000 a year, that means that they're making $16,000 a month. For a senior professional making $100,000 a year, that means they're making about $8,000 a month. For a junior making $50,000 a year, that means they're making about $4,000 per month. And remember, we have to assume that 75% of that income, wherever they're at, is already allocated, because I don't know many people who are living that far below their means. So we have to assume that 75% of their income is already tied into existing obligations, mortgages, rent, food, car payments, later on kids. So we have to assume that they only have 25% or less of their income to spend on new things. That's why, for me, the ideal pricing for a service should actually stay within the 12 to 10% range of a person's monthly salary. So if I come to you and I say, would you buy this service? It shouldn't be more than 12% of your monthly earnings. And if it is, it has to be justified with a huge one-time, lifetime opportunity kind of thing. If you're coming to me for ongoing monthly services and you want me to pay 25%, 50% of my salary, that's just not realistic. Now, it is 100% on you to pick your audience, and you need to decide what is more important. If you prefer to make more money, then you have two options. Either you're going to change your target audience and make sure that you're going to keep your service rates really high, but you're going to make sure you're only offering those services to that appropriate category who can afford it. Or you're going to stay with the poorer category and you're going to be like, I really want to serve those people who don't have much money. If that's the case, you're going to have to change your services. And instead of charging a package that's like a $2,000 per month service, you're going to make your money on passive income via courses, via digital products, something that doesn't involve your time, because 199%, you should not cheapen your rates. So if you decide to serve an audience who makes less money, create digital programs for them, evergreen programs, workshops that are short, digital products. Here, take this and use it. because that's how you'll be able to continue serving them without facing this price conflict. But one thing I want you to understand is you don't just pick your prices out of a hat because it makes you feel important. I see entrepreneurs doing that all the time, just saying, "Oh, I want to charge 5,000 for 1 hour." And I say, "That's nice, but that's not in line with who you tell me you're trying to serve." Those people don't have that kind of money. And I do want to acknowledge at this point that there are terrible practices happening online to force those poor people to somehow come up with this money. This, you and I know, only happens if they go into debt. Is that what you would want your daughter, your best friend, your sister, your mother to do? So let's say that your mother is desperately trying to lose weight and she's on Facebook and she sees this ad for a woman who says, "Look, you need to pay me $50,000 right now, and I promise you that you're going to love this program. It's going to totally take off all your excess weight." And without you knowing this, your mother goes and takes from the mortgage of the house and puts 50K into this gosh knows what kind of program, right? Just think about things like that. Now, that's an extreme example, but you hear what I'm trying to say. Would you want that to happen to you or your loved one? No. So why do it to anyone else? Why push these spammy tactics of come up with unbelievable amounts of money that you can't afford, when instead of that, you could put these people into a reasonably priced program with reasonably priced expectations without driving them into paying with their credit cards, going into debt, being completely desperate. Or if you want to stay high end, stop talking to those people and go into a different market. There's plenty of people at every price point, I promise you. But here's how I figure. I figure if you're drawn to a certain audience, no matter what, it's because that's the audience you were meant to serve. So if you were meant to serve CEOs making $200,000 a year, you're going to know it because you're going to feel really confident and comfortable around CEOs making $200,000 a year. You're going to speak their language. You're going to know what to offer them. You're going to anticipate what they're going to want to have in their program. If it feels uncomfortable, awkward, you're just not at all understanding what they want, wake up and realize that's not your audience. Go to the audience that you love. Those are your people. And then you want to speak their language, spend a lot of time with those people, get to know where they're struggling, and really help those people. But whatever you do, make sure you design the programs that would work for their income. And I don't know why not more people are talking about this. It's super important, all right? And it's so easy to calculate. Take another example. Let's say that you say, "Krista, I have a program that's $1,000, all right? So now I'm going to take the same levels again, the CEO, the senior, and the junior. So for a CEO making $200,000 a year, $1,000 is 6% of their income. They won't even think twice. They're making $16,000 a month. 1,000 is nothing. All right. So for a senior manager, it's 12% of their income. So $1,000, that would be, they're making about $8,000 a month. That would be 6% of their income. Is 12% of their income, excuse me. And that's totally perfect. So I'm thinking, okay, they're making 8,000 a month. 1,000 is doable. The CEO is making 16,000 a month. 1,000 is too low, right? So stay within, do the math, plug in any number, and then look for the 12% mark. I find that people who are investing in something are willing to pay 12%. And remember, if someone who you know is making that money and you really know that the price you're offering is within that 12% and they're still saying it's too expensive, run. Because what that means is your pricing is not off. It means red alert warning signs. This is a bad client. Either they're the type of person who wants everything for free and they will drive you mad, or they really don't respect you, or they really don't value what you're offering. So they're like, well, if I can get a deal, I'll buy it, but it's not something I really need or want. Those are definitely not the right types of clients. So never second guess your pricing. Stay within that 12% range, and you'll be fine, because you know that the person can pay that if they want to, right? Because remember, whatever you're offering them should be worth it. So if it's not worth it, then I put that back on you to go back and say, I need to work harder on developing products that I stand 100% behind, that I know work. So and that's a whole different video, my friends. But today we're talking about how to do pricing. Now, there are a few other aspects that I want to just cover quickly, but that is the bulk of it. I would really, really strongly recommend that you guys put this in action. Get out your calculator right now. Look at your target income, your target client, and say, what is their income? Now, I could not, with a peace of mind, put out this video without talking about how to find out their income, because you might be here saying, well, that's fine, Krista, but I have no idea what their income is. That's easy. Find out what they do all day long. What are they doing all day long? So if they're a junior developer in Kansas or a senior programmer in Paris, you can look up online the price that they should be getting paid. Does that mean that's going to be their exact dollar to dollar salary? No. But if they're being overpaid, even better, right? Because you're still going to charge them then it's going to go even down. It won't be 12%. It will be 8%, 10%. If they say yes too eagerly, then you know you may have miscalculated. Or they're being underpaid. And if they're being underpaid, that's a red flag as well, because, it means lack of ambition, lack of confidence, probably some mental setbacks in their mind. Those probably aren't going to be clients who are ready for transformation that your product or service would offer. You want people who are coachable, who are open to receive, who are eager, determined, and most importantly, follow through. And somebody who is constantly underpaying themselves is somebody who suffers from some deep-rooted problem, all right? And so your product or service may not even help them, because they have this deep block inside themselves of, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. Now, I'll tell you one thing. Making money is a remedy for this, because every time you close a new deal, you're like, yes, it's validated that my products and services are worthy of this rate that I'm charging. And it does boost your self-confidence. But I think you understand what I mean, is that you should be able to easily guesstimate what your audience is making, at least the range of what they should be making, and then do the math and be like, okay, they should be bringing home around 8K per month, which means my product and service would be like really affordable for them. So if they're really blocked, then, keep walking, but don't change your pricing. All right. For corporates, I've been putting that off because this calculation isn't easy to apply. Instead, you want to be looking what your competitors are charging. do your research and find at least 10 like competitors who are serving the same audience. And it's super important to say this because I've had clients come to me and say, I'm offering video services. I found this guy, he's offering video services so cheap. And immediately I'm like, let's look at his website, his case studies, his testimonials, his portfolio, and we can easily see who he's doing this for. And we see right away that he's not doing it at all for the people that you're doing it for, who have a lot more money, right, than his customer. So make sure that you do your research and figure out, if I want to hire him, how much would he charge? And that's how I put down 10 of those. And then I say, okay, I know where I fit in. And I like to stay in the upper 3/4 of my market, which means I don't want to be the most expensive. You might want to be the most expensive. Maybe that's your whole goal. Whatever you do, my friends, please do not ever try to be the more affordable option. That is the worst way, because affordability is keyword for I can walk all over you, I can take advantage of you, and I can squeeze you for even more services than I paid for. It's a lack of self-worth. And when I say this, there are very specific business strategies where you want to be the affordable option. If you're trying to build a store like Target, like these big box stores that have like a club membership, and they say, you can save money by coming to our store, then that means that's part of your brand identity. So the very core of your business, there's insurance companies that market themselves like that too. So if affordability is actually your brand message, then it's okay, because you've already come up with a pricing strategy that means that you can charge lower rates but still beat your competitors because of the way you've built this whole strategy. So it's part of a bigger plan. But if you don't market yourself as affordability is the core of my whole business, which very rare cases does it actually work. Like I said, you'd really have to have that be part of a much bigger strategy. Otherwise, you're going to really pay the price. And it's very hard to rebrand once you've put yourself out as the cheap person. So I highly recommend you try to stay at least in the norm or even the upper range, like I do. Okay. And so for corporate, that's how you figure out the pricing is you look around what other people are charging. And also you might have to have a mentor. If you have a mentor, your mentor can help you for sure with this. I help my clients all the time with what they should charge the corporate. Okay. So a few more considerations, and then I will let you get back to your day. So one of the other considerations that's super important for pricing is how much does this service or product that you offer mean to the customer? What big transformation are you selling? And how do they visualize that? Is it super important, top priority, do or die? I gotta find a solution for this today or else? Or is it, hey, that's something that's been on my mind, my to-do list. I've heard about that. I'm curious to know more. Maybe someday I do it. So this also drives the price, because if it's somebody who's like do or die, they're going to pay more money because they want more. They want to make sure that they're going to solve that problem now. Whereas someone who says, this is nice to have, they will only come if you have a low-end product, a little teaser of it. So those people are not going to be good candidates for your high-end coaching program, your signature programs. They're going to be the people who are like, I want that, but in little doses, because I think it's cool, but that's not a top priority for me. So it doesn't even have to do with your pricing. It has to do with the level of service and their sense of importance. Do they want it, need it? Is it urgent? Is it nice to have, right? So in order to offer your services to this target customer, you want to follow my pricing value ladder system, which you'll hear me talk about a lot. And I will put this into a playlist with other videos so you see that in action. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but that will really help you so that even if you have the right customer in front of you, but they're not going to buy, it's not because the price is bad. It's because the price meets the level of service for someone who's really wants to go all in, and you're not offering them anything to dabble. You don't have a low end version of this, a light version. So that's where I'm headed here. Is this an intensive or is this a try it out kind of thing? And depending on that, there's going to be different price points for the same exact target audience. All right. I hope that makes sense. And what else did I want to say? And then the last thing, this is so important. This is such a big pet peeve of mine. So earlier I talked about the scammer who runs an ad, tells you, $50,000, you come in, we're going to completely transform your life. Well, I think the same thing is happening with ego. Sometimes people just get this inflated ego and they're like, I'm going to charge this horrific price, really high price, and they don't have anything to back it up. So I met people like this before, and they're just really pulling these prices out of thin air because it makes them feel important. So they've measured their price against their own self-worth. And then they say it's a game to just try to get the client to pay really high rates, when actually these rates have nothing to do with the market. So if you would go and shop around, you would find out that you're being completely taken advantage of. And I see these people selling, and these are the type of people I would never keep in my business mentorship program, because I strongly believe that this is unethical and that you should be charging the rates that make you feel good, but that also would make your client feel good. And like I said, if in order to make more money, either you change which client you're targeting so that for them, this higher rate doesn't really matter much, or for that lower hanging client who doesn't have much budget, you develop lower hanging products. It's either or. And you can do both. You should always have an upsell and a downsell in every market. But I hope you understand where I'm headed here is don't let some guru online convince you that you should be charging 10K an hour and just go out and try to do that, because it's stupid and it's unethical. And believe me, if you ever send me that type of a proposal, you will be blacklisted for life. And I already have a list of a couple of people who I will never hire. I will never bring onto my podcast. I will never recommend, and I will completely disassociate myself with these people because they have these ego-driven rates. So think about that. And this may not be something that a business mentor typically tells you, because I want you to make more money, but I want you to do it in a feel-good way without really screwing people over, So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, reach out, leave some in the comments. Always look at the comments and I will check. And please subscribe to my channels so that I can continue bringing you these types of videos. Have a great day and go out there and feel confident about your pricing.